Yeah. So what are we going to study? I think we finished the text, the two texts, or we were in the middle of the last one. Okay, let's finish it now. Oh, actually, we didn't even finish the first. Oh, okay, okay. Until, Beta, your sentences, you wrote beautiful sentences. I was too excited to meet you. Now, TW2, okay? Change that into, I was very excited to meet you. Why? Because when TW2 is used, it means so much that something didn't happen. The astronauts were too excited to sleep. They didn't sleep. Understand? So when you're too excited to do something, that thing doesn't happen. Okay? Here you are very excited to meet me. All right? You say, sir, I was very excited to meet you. You meet some celebrity and you say, I was very excited to meet you. So very shows a different feeling. To shows a different feeling. So it's good to say, I was very excited to meet you. In my paternal grandparents' house, my mom was the first person to get first division in matric. All right, very good. And you wrote, the bus took 1 hour to go to Patna to get to Patna. To get to Patna sounds better. Get to means to reach. To reach. You want to say to reach here, right? Get to means reach. So the bus took 1 hour to get to Patna. All right. And he was too serious to share his property. I'm not sure what you mean by this sentence. He was too serious to share his property. He wanted to share his property. Okay. He was very serious. But I don't know if we say serious to do something, we say serious about doing something, as far as I think, he was very serious about sharing his property. So we say somebody is serious about doing something instead of serious to do something. It is just a verb pattern, I mean, somebody, it comes with exposure. It's not, it doesn't really change anything if you understand, Sam. He was very serious to share his property. He was very serious about sharing his property. He really wanted to do it. He was very serious about his daughter's education. He was very serious about his daughter's education. He was very serious about his daughter's education. Here, serious means it was very important to him, right? The government is very serious about women's safety. They claim, I mean, at least they claim that they're very serious about women's safety. But if you look at their actions, they don't give you much confidence. Next. The astronauts were too excited to sleep. It means they were so excited they could not sleep, right? He was too rich to go bankrupt. He was too rich to go bankrupt. What it actually means is he was so rich, he had so much money, it was impossible to go bankrupt. Some people go bankrupt. They lose all their money and they don't have enough money to pay their debts. Then we call them bankrupt. There was a time Amitabh Bachchan went bankrupt. He didn't have any money, not even money to pay off his debts. So go bankrupt, दिवालिया हो जाना. I was too amazed to believe it. I was too disturbed to work. Very good. So disturbed that I could not work. My 75-year-old grandparents or grandparent, you mean to say grandparents or grandparent? Parents is plural to both of them, and one of them is grandparent, okay? My 75-year-old grandparents are too old to walk. Old is missing as well. My 75-year-old grandparents, okay, are too old to walk, too weak to walk. The designer took 100 hours to complete the 5-meter gown. Okay, all right. The designer took only 5 minutes to dress up the heroine, the actress. Done. Good job. Keep writing. कुछ भी कर लो, इन लोगों को शर्म नहीं आने वाली, ये लोग कुछ नहीं करेंगे. I can't really say anything. इतना ज्यादा तो मेरे को किसी ने नहीं embarrass कराया है जितना ये लोग करा रहे हैं. I mean, these guys won't write. Hey, Krishnap, नीचे सिर करने से तुम्हारा प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाएगा. कुछ लिख सकते थे कल जो पढ़ाई हुई थी, कल थे क्लास में तुम. What did you do? क्या समय दिया तुमने? फिर वही, फिर घूम के वही. कल आए, फिर अभी आए. बीच में क्या किया 24 घंटे में? ऐसे ही 24 घंटे तुमने आज तक बर्बाद किए. सारे 24 घंटे ऐसे ही बर्बाद किए. And you plan to learn English? Forget it. I'm not going to hold myself back anymore. I'm going to give you guys exactly what you deserve. The weak students like Ravi, I will not say much to him. Okay? Weak students like Yuvraj, I'm not going to say much to them because they can't. But somebody like you guys deserve all the criticism. You're lazy people. Where is your practice? What did you do in last 24 hours to improve your English other than just attending the class? There is somebody practicing in front of you in the group and you do not realize what your job is as a student. Well, I'm not going to hold myself back. I told you, I'm going to get bitter and bitter. I will make you guys leave the class, otherwise start working hard. या तो मैं आपको क्लास छुड़वा दूंगा या तो आप मेहनत करो. दो में से एक चीज. और क्लास छुड़वाने का मतलब इतनी बेइज्जती करूंगा कि आप छोड़ दोगे. इतनी क्रिटिसिज्म करूंगा. मुझे नंबर्स नहीं चाहिए क्लास में. आई वांट स्टूडेंट्स हु आर स्टडीइंग, हु आर लर्निंग. You don't have a mobile. Well, find a solution. Every problem has a solution. If there is a true will to find a... Not too excited. I was very excited. Too excited means couldn't do it. They were too excited to sleep. इतने ज्यादा excited थे कि सो ना पाए. I was too angry to talk. I was so angry that I couldn't talk. Sometimes when you're very angry, any emotion you feel very strongly, you can't talk. No. When you're too happy, you can't talk. When you're too sad, you can't talk. When you're too angry, you can't talk. Okay. Fine. Let's continue. It took 37 minutes to complete the 22-mile journey. The plane flew at 40 miles per hour at an altitude of 250 feet. Everything went well. Everything went well until he flew into fog. Everything went well until he flew into fog. Flying into fog was the problem moment. Before that, everything was okay. Everything in my life was okay until I got married. Everything in my life was okay until I got married. I was a very good student until I took admission in others high school. Now you can understand something changed at that moment, right? I said I was a very good student until I took admission in others high school. Means when I took admission there, I was no longer a good student. Before that, I was. I was a very sincere and a passionate student until I took admission there. The school changed me a little bit, the environment there wasn't very nice. Okay. And I said I was very happy. Everything in my life was great until I got married. Things changed when I got married. So until can show you this kind of, until can help you express this kind of idea. Everything went well until he flew into fog. I continued flying for 10 minutes, but I couldn't see the land, only the sky and the sea. It was the most dangerous part of the journey. I wasn't worried about the machine. It flew beautifully. There was no problem with the machine, the aeroplane. Machine here means, machine here refers to the aeroplane, right? I wasn't worried about the machine. It flew beautifully. The machine, the aeroplane, flew beautifully. Finally, I saw the land, he told reporters. Landing in England. Finally, I saw the land. The word finally gives you a feeling that there was a time gap before he saw the land. Finally, I saw the land. If I say finally, my father agreed to buy me the bike. All right. What does it show? Did I have to wait for a long time or I didn't have to wait for a long time for the bike? I had to wait because I said, finally, my father agreed. Finally gives that feeling, right? That something happened after a wait, after some time. Finally, he passed his matric exam. Do you think he passed his matric exam in the first attempt? No, because I said, finally, he passed his matric exam. So words have their feelings. If you know the feelings they express, the idea they express, then you don't need to learn the Hindi of that word. Okay. Finally, I saw the land, he told reporters. Landing in England. When he got to Dover, when he got to Dover, he saw a French journalist. Got to. Can you see, beta? This is the phrase I wanted to teach you. Get to means reach. Get to means past tense. When he got to Dover, जब वो Dover पहुंच गया, when he got to Dover, he saw a French journalist waving a flag. He saw a French journalist waving a flag. When he got to Dover, he saw a French journalist waving a flag. 2 days ago, 3 days ago, when Tawheed wrote his life story, Sam, if you were there, remember, he said, when I was a child, I saw children went to school. And look at this sentence. He saw a French journalist waving a flag. So similarly, when Tawheed was small, he saw children going to school, right? Yeah. He saw a French journalist waving a flag. Who was waving a flag? A French journalist was waving a flag. A French journalist was waving a flag. And who saw it? Who saw it? Louis Blériot saw it, right? Louis Blériot saw it. What did he see? He saw a French journalist waving a flag. See how words change if you are ready to observe. I said, who was waving a flag? A French journalist was waving a flag. इसमें से was drop नहीं करने का सोच सकते हो because it will become meaningless. Who waving a flag? No, who was waving a flag? Who was waving a flag? Wave, hilana, right? Who was waving a flag? A French journalist. Who saw it? Louis Blériot saw it. What did he see? He saw a French journalist waving a flag. इस बार was drop हो गया ना? तो ये है फ्लो ऑफ द लैंग्वेज. जो समझ गया, सीख गया, आगे बढ़ जाएगा. और जो नहीं समझ पाया वो प्रेजेंट कंटिन्यूअस, पास्ट कंटिन्यूअस का मंत्र जाप करता रहेगा जिंदगी भर, ता उम्र, ऑल हिज लाइफ दे विल बी सेइंग ए पास्ट कंटिन्यूअस में वॉज लगता है, इसमें वॉज नहीं लगा, यही सब करते रह जाएंगे. यू नो व्हाट हैपेंस? I am getting quite a few students from YouTube videos. They message me, sir, I want to join your class, and they join the class. And the students who are from different parts of India, okay, I can tell you, I don't know whether it is true or not, many of them have a very, very rudimentary understanding of English, very, very basic understanding of English. A lot of my students, physical class students, are a lot better. Actually, you know what the problem with them is? A lot of students who are joining the classes, they know the basic things and they think it is everything. Okay, when you study maths in class 1 or 2 and you learn addition and subtraction, when somebody teaches you addition and subtraction in algebra or trigonometry, you do not say, I know addition and subtraction, that's it. You are ready to learn that concept, new concept. So when I introduce these new concepts, they compare it with the basic things like present simple and past simple. And they say, yes, kaise? Like here, some people would say, sir, was waving hona chahiye na? क्या होना चाहिए? Was waving होना चाहिए ना सर, खाली waving. और वो लोग पढ़े लिखे होते हैं, वो लोग इंग्लिश में ध्यान दिए होते हैं, समय बिताए होते हैं. लेकिन प्रॉब्लम ये है कि उन्होंने बेसिक को अल्टीमेट लेसन मान लिया. बेटा A1 लेसन, A2 लेसन आपने किया है आज तक, जो भी किया है लाइफ में, A1, A2. कभी कभी some lessons belong to C1, C2 level, but your understanding is not there for sure. So when he got to Dover, he saw a French journalist waving a flag. अब बोलो, जब हम घर पहुंचे तो मम्मी को खाना बनाते हुए देखा. When I got home, टू हट गया, पता है ना, होम के पहले टू नहीं लगाएंगे. ओके, when I got home, I saw my mom cooking dinner, cooking lunch, cooking breakfast. लेकिन cooking food नहीं, right? We don't say cook food. Okay. When he got to Dover, he saw a French journalist waving a flag. अब क्या ग्रामर था, नहीं था, गोली मारो. तुम कितना आसानी से सेंटेंस सीख गए और कैसा लंबा सेंटेंस सीख गए. जब हम क्लास पहुंचे ना, तो सर पढ़ा रहे थे. सर को पढ़ाते हुए देखा मैंने, राइट. सर पढ़ा रहे थे इज अ डिफरेंट थिंग. व्हेन आई गॉट टू क्लास, द टीचर वाज टीचिंग, वो अलग है. लेकिन आई सॉ डालने से क्या चेंज आ जाता है? When I got to class, I saw the teacher teaching the class. Okay? मैंने टीचर को पढ़ाते हुए देखा. I saw a man damaging the railway track. I saw a man vandalizing the railway track, damaging the railway track. I quickly informed the police. All right. So देख लो आप, I saw कैसे करके बोलते हैं. He saw a French journalist waving a flag. उसने देखा एक French journalist को flag हिलाते हुए. He saw a French journalist waving a flag. Wave means you wave your hand like this. Bye. He cut the engine at 60 feet. He cut the engine at, आरी लेके गया था घर से, है ना? घर से क्या लेके गया था? आरी. काटने के लिए क्या कुछ चाहिए ना, इंजन वगैरह काटने के लिए क्या चाहिए? आरी चाहिए. He cut the engine at 60 feet. अरे इस engine को काट दिया 60 फीट पे. नहीं, नहीं, क्या कर दिया? बंद कर दिया. अब ये है कॉमन सेंस. जिसमें नहीं है उसके लिए हम लोग हवन करा सकते हैं, प्रार्थना कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, कुछ शायद उसमें बदलाव है. He cut the engine at 60 feet. ठीक है, हमने सीखा कट मीन्स काटा. किसने नहीं सीखा? बट कॉमन सेंस इज ऑल्सो समथिंग दैट गाइड्स अस. इंजन को काट देगा वो रास्ते में है. कभी ऐसा हुआ है? He switched off the engine at 60 feet. He cut the engine at 60 feet and crashed into a field. Soft landing was not a concept back then. Okay. Later they decided कि अरे उतरना होगा तो ऐसे थोड़ी उतर सकते धड़ाम से. He crashed into a field. Nowadays, when planes land, do they crash normally? No, they soft land. They land softly. Okay. But soft landing was not a concept for him. He crashed into a field. Well, uh, lucky he was, his plane was lightweight. Okay. If today's plane crash, there will be accidents, there will be fire, right? Anyways, he cut the engine at 60 feet. Imagine this, how he got on the land. At 60 feet, he switched off the engine. Now the plane was not going up because the engine was off. The plane was going down, 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 down. And he crashed into a field. Lucky he survived. Lucky him, right? He survived. Okay. The news quickly went around the world. The news quickly went around the world. Yes. The news quickly went around the world. The news quickly went around the world. When we say went around, in Hindi we'll say the news quickly went around, फैल गया. फैलना का इंग्लिश स्प्रेड होता है, वैसे पढ़ा होगा तुमने. स्प्रेड मीन्स फैलना और फैलाना, राइट? सही है. बट सी, गो से भी बोल सकते हैं. द न्यूज क्विकली वेंट अराउंड द वर्ल्ड. पूरी दुनिया में फैल गई न्यूज. एंड मिस्टर ब्लेरियो's flight was celebrated in London and Paris. His flight was celebrated in London and Paris. This sentence, his flight was celebrated, थोड़ा कंफ्यूज करना चाहिए तुम्हें. तुमने कहा कि सर हम लोग तो खाली V2 पढ़ाते, ये बी फॉर फिर भी साथ में V2 लिखा है, ऐसे कैसे? ये V2 नहीं V3 है. और सुनो, मिस्टर ब्लेरियो's flight was celebrated. अगर मेरा क्वेश्चन हो, who celebrated the flight? Who celebrated? People celebrate. People celebrated, right? What did they celebrate? They celebrated Blériot's flight. लेकिन आगे लिख दिए Blériot's flight was celebrated. Who celebrated? People celebrated. तो अगर V2 से लिखना होगा तो लिखेंगे people celebrated his flight. Okay? दूसरा तरीका, his flight was celebrated. Okay? People damaged the school. People damaged the school. और the school को आगे रख दे तो the school was damaged. People damaged the school. ये आज थोड़ी प्रैक्टिस करनी होगी, अंडरलाइन करो. और कल बिना प्रैक्टिस के आना, फिर एकदम गंदा सा लेक्चर देंगे. थोड़ी देर के लिए बेइज्जती महसूस होगी. कुछ दिनों में भाग जाओगे अगर प्रैक्टिस शुरू नहीं किया तो. हाँ, मैंने कहा they damaged the school. The people damaged the school. The school was damaged. People found a solution. People found a solution. A solution was found. They killed the robber. The people killed the robber. The people killed the robber. Write the examples, or maybe you will watch the recording later. Okay. The people killed the robber. The robber was killed. The robber was killed. है ना? Easy? तो आप ऐसे ही पैटर्न को कंटिन्यू करना एंड प्रैक्टिस सम सेंटेंसेस जो आपको फील हो. ऐसे सेंटेंस मत बोलना जो फील नहीं होता हो. Only make sentences which you can feel, understand very well. People distributed sweets. Sweets. Hello, hello. Nope. Correction. People distributed sweets. People distributed sweets. Bolo, sweets se bolo, sweets. Was is singular, sweets is plural. कहाँ हो यार? Basic यार. Sweets were distributed. Was. Sweets were distributed. मिठाइयाँ बांटी गई. हाँ? Collected. Samples were collected. Yes. कर लेंगे ना? Practice करेंगे, grow करेंगे. ये बड़ी ही अजीब तरह का क्लास है ये. आप सोच के आए थे कि आप ये वाला प्रैक्टिस करेंगे इसमें, लेकिन कुछ भी आ जाए सामने समझ में आने लायक रहना चाहिए. आप उसकी प्रैक्टिस करो, बेहतर हो जाओगे. His flight was celebrated. Mr. Blario's flight was celebrated in London and Paris. In London and Paris, people celebrated his flight. He won a prize of £1,000. Mr. Blario won a prize of £1,000. The crossing was the start of modern aviation. The crossing was the start of modern aviation. ये जो क्रॉसिंग था ना, ये शुरुआत था. वो द क्रॉसिंग वाज द स्टार्ट. क्रॉसिंग ऑफ इंग्लिश चैनल was the start of modern aviation. Aviation, I've told you, anything related to flying, okay. Udan, Uddayan, whatever. The crossing was the start of modern aviation. Modern aviation started with this crossing. Okay, who said this line? Said Louis Blériot. Louis Blériot ने कहा. कौन सा Louis Blériot? The grandson of the pioneer. I'll explain. The pioneer means somebody who does something for the first time, something new. A pioneer is somebody who does something for the first time, something new. Who first built a computer or the computer? Charles Babbage. So Charles Babbage was a pioneer. He was a pioneer. Understand? A pioneer is somebody who does something for the first time, something new, something that has never been done. So Louis Blériot, who? The grandson of the pioneer. Who was the pioneer? Louis Blériot was the pioneer, and Louis Blériot, the grandson of the pioneer, means his grandson's name was also Louis Blériot. Understand, this Louis Blériot who made this comment, the crossing was the start of modern aviation, was the grandson of the man who made the first air journey. Are you getting it? Yeah? Iska pota, yeah, the grandson of the man in the picture. He made this comment. The crossing was the start of modern aviation. Who made this comment? Louis Blériot, who was the grandson of Louis Blériot. Now, in French culture and European culture, it is common to give somebody the name of, okay, the person you admire. I really, really admire my friend XYZ. Really like him. Then maybe when I get a son, when I have a son, I will give my son the name of my friend XYZ to show that I love you so much, I admire you so much, my friend. So, in Jawaharlal Nehru, he had so much respect for Mahatma Gandhi that he called his daughter Indira Gandhi. Some people say that he did it because he thought it would help his daughter. बात का बतंगड़ करना है, okay? European culture में, when you read, now you haven't read the story of Columbus yet, okay? Even you have, तुम आगे ही पढ़ते हो खुद से बैठ करके, तो कब? Oh, okay, okay. So Columbus story, when you read, there will be a king there, okay? And that king, his name is Ferdinand, and he helps Columbus, do what he wants to do. He gives him money. So later, Columbus names his son Ferdinand. The king's name was Ferdinand, and he names his son Ferdinand. If you do it in India, some people will feel angry. Sala mera naam beta ko de diya. Like it's strange a little bit. Think about it. बेटा फर्डिनांड और राजा जी वहीं पे खड़े हो. बेटा फर्डिनांड, राजा जी को प्रणाम करो, राजा जी का नाम भी फर्डिनांड हो. तो in Indian culture it's slightly different, but in European culture, if they like you, if they respect you, they can give your name to their children to show that they love you, they respect you. So Louis Blériot made this first air journey. His son felt very proud of his father, right? His son said, wow, what a thing my father did. He was 37 years old when he did it. Perhaps his son was already 11, 12 years of age. And he realized what a big deal it was, what his father did. So to show respect to his father, that Papa, I'm really proud of you, what you did, he named his son the same name, Louis Blériot. Now you understand the story? So his grandson, Louis Blériot, said the crossing was the start of modern aviation. He gave credit to his grandfather that my grandfather started modern aviation, right? When he said the crossing was the start of modern aviation, in a way, he was giving credit to his grandfather. He said, my grandfather started modern aviation. Now, this story is over. Second story. The first man on the moon. On the 16th of July, 1969, when? On the 16th of July, 1969, at 9:30 in the morning, Apollo 11 lifted off, I say. Okay, planes take off like this, but rockets lift off like this. Rockets don't take off, rockets lift off. And planes take care, okay? So, in the morning, Apollo 11 lifted off from the Kennedy Space Center. Where is it? In Florida. Kennedy Space Center in Florida. It lifted off from there. It lifted off from that place. In Hindi, we will say, itne तारीख को इतने बजे इस जगह से rocket उड़ा, right? On the 16th of July, 1969, at 9:30 in the morning, Apollo 11 lifted off from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. There were 3 astronauts on board. Easy? There were 3 astronauts on board. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. These 3 astronauts were on board on, Apollo 11. They were on board on Apollo 11. The enormous rocket, enormous means very, very big, huge. The enormous rocket took 3 days. The enormous rocket took 3 days to complete the 250,000 miles to the moon. The enormous rocket took 3 days to complete the 250,000 miles to the moon. So how far was the distance? How far? 250,000 miles to the moon. So the journey was 250,000 miles. And how long did it take? How long did the journey take? 3 days. It took 3 days to complete the journey. Traveling at 6 miles per second. अगर वहां कॉमा को फुल स्टॉप में बदल दें तो ट्रैवलिंग एट नहीं लिख सकेंगे, फुल स्टॉप में डाल देते हैं, मून के बाद फुल स्टॉप। यही चीज बताना चाहे। उस दिन तौहीद ने दिखाया कि उसको सेंटेंस एंडिंग की समझ नहीं है। सेंटेंस एंडिंग की समझ होगी कि एक सेंटेंस कंप्लीट हो गया, देन यू विल नो कि स्टार्ट कैसे करना। फिर देखो, the enormous rocket took 3 days to complete the 250,000 miles to the moon. Full stop. आगे क्या बोलेंगे? It was traveling. The rocket traveled. दोनों ही चाहिए, ठीक है? Okay. The rocket traveled at 6 miles per second. The rocket traveled at full stop अगर है तो the rocket traveled at 6 miles per second. अब सुन में है कि यहाँ लोग लैंग्वेज क्यों सीखते हैं? ये सब बातें कभी किसी क्लास में हुई हो तो बता दो। तुमने अगर कोई क्लासेस अटेंड किए हो और कभी जो मैंने अभी करा कि ये फुल स्टॉप यहाँ डाल दो, फिर देखो सेंटेंस कैसे चेंज हो जाएगा, ये सब बातें किसी क्लास में होती नहीं। They'll teach you the technical stuff. पास्ट कंटिन्यूअस में वॉज लगता है, V4 लगता है, बस यही तो तुम्हें वो तो पता ही रहता है। वही चीजें दोहराते रहो, तिहराते रहो। सब क्लास का सिलेबस यही है। इस क्लास का सिलेबस ही अलग है। और वो कुछ लोग मुझसे कहते हैं शुरू में बताओ, मैंने कहा भाड़ में जाओ, सॉरी आई कांट एक्सप्लेन। एक अंधे को आप ज्यादा एक्सप्लेन नहीं करते, कहते धीरे धीरे रोशनी आएगी, दुनिया दिखेगी तुम्हें, बात खत्म है। दुनिया एक्सप्लेन हम नहीं करने वाले कैसी है। जब तुम्हारी आंखें आएंगी तुम दुनिया देख पाओगे। आई कैन गिव यू दैट साइट स्लोली। सो इंग्लिश में वैसी चीजें होती है जैसे हिंदी में होती हैं, तुम्हें समझने भर के दे रहे हैं। विद मी यू कैन डेवलप दैट एबिलिटी टू अंडरस्टैंड इंग्लिश। सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है, जिनको नहीं पता इंग्लिश वो तो आराम से ट्रस्ट करके काम करते हैं, पर जिन्होंने काफी पढ़ा होता है ना, उनको लगता है मेरे से इतने दिन में नहीं हुआ, अभी कैसे होगा, बिकॉज द मेथड विल बी डिफरेंट एंड यू हैव टू एक्सेप्ट दिस न्यू मेथड। क्या किया मैंने वहां? मून के बाद कॉमा को फुल स्टॉप में चेंज किया। क्यों? समझने के लिए कि सेंटेंस का स्ट्रक्चर कैसे चल रहा है। द रॉकेट ट्रेवल्ड एट 6 miles per second। अब दोनों को साथ ले आए, दोनों को साथ ले आए। द रॉकेट took 3 days to reach the moon, traveling at exactly. Suno, she came home. She left her child in the shop. She came home, full stop. She left her child in the shop. दोनों के साथ लाओ। She came home, leaving the child in the shop. She came home, leaving the child in the shop. It means she came home and she left the child in the shop. Careless mother. ये अदरवाइज ये ट्रैवलिंग, लिविंग, ये सबको ग्रामेटिकली समझने जाओगे ना, इसका दिमाग का दही हो जाएगा तुम्हारा। ना कोई एक्सप्लेन कर पाएगा सही से, ना तुम समझ पाओगे सही से। क्योंकि पहली बात है तुम्हें कॉन्सेप्ट आना चाहिए, लैंग सेंटेंस समझ में आना चाहिए, बाद में उसके पीछे के ग्रामर को समझना है। नो, ये सब बकवास बात है। एवरी सेंटेंस दैट वी स्पीक फॉलोज ग्रामर। कोई ये कहता है ना ग्रामर इज डिफरेंट, स्पोकन सेंटेंस डिफरेंट, अब मैं बता रहा हूँ सुन लो, उसकी मानसिकता समझना। कुछ जगहों पे ये बात सच है that some spoken English sentences do not follow any particular grammar rules that can be taught. They are fixed expression. अगर मैं कहूं there you go, किसी ने वही बात बोली जो मुझे पता था वो बोलेगा और हमको वो सुनना नहीं था, तो जैसे उसने बोला वो बात annoying बात, मैंने कहा there you go. Suppose there is somebody who believes one caste is superior than the other, and I do not agree with this. तो बहस होते होते फिर उसने बोले but all people are not the same, some castes are superior. उसने बोल दी अपनी बात, जैसे ही बोला मैंने कहा there you go, लो बोल दी, तो कर दी तुमने बात. तो ये जो there you go मैंने बोला है, इसमें हम ग्रामर थोड़ी एक्सप्लेन करने जाएंगे, फिक्स्ड एक्सप्रेशन के तौर पे सिखाएंगे कि इसको यूज करते हैं ऐसे. तो some spoken English phrases, sentences, expressions do not follow grammar rules. हम लोग सीधे सीधे उनको या ऐसे एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं, फिक्स्ड एक्सप्रेशन है, इसको ऐसे इस जगह पे यूज करना. बट आप 99% जो बातें बोलोगे बात करते समय, वो क्या ग्रामर के बगैर बोलोगे? तो अगर आपने बोला पापा आज नहीं आएंगे घर, मम्मी को बता रहे हो, तो क्या ग्रामर के बोल दोगे ये लाइन? तो फिर क्या बोलने का मतलब है स्पोकन इंग्लिश में ग्रामर फॉलो नहीं करते हैं? ये लाइन ज्यादातर लोग वो बोलते हैं, कुछ लोग तो बोलते हैं जिनको कॉन्सेप्ट पता है, मैं जो बोल रहा था कि कुछ ग्रामर स्पोकन इंग्लिश के सेंटेंसेस हैं फिक्स एक्सप्रेशन वाले, जिनको एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए कोई ग्रामर रूल की जरूरत नहीं है, आप उनको सीधे फिक्स एक्सप्रेशन के तौर पे सीख सकते हैं. ठीक है, नेवर माइंड क्या है, अब इसके पीछे ग्रामर जाएंगे आप ढूंढने कि कैसे बना ये फ्रेज, एक फिक्स एक्सप्रेशन है, नेवर माइंड. तो दोस्तों, ये सिर्फ वो लोग बोलते हैं जो या तो ग्रामर में कमजोर होते हैं और इंग्लिश बोल रहे होते हैं, तो उनको चाहिए कोई उनको ये ना करे, अम, उनको जज ना करे. भाई स्पोकन इंग्लिश में नहीं चलते, ग्रामर कोई जरूरी नहीं है, वो बचाना चाहते हैं अपने आप को. और वो लोग जो ग्रामर पढ़ा रहे हैं लेकिन इंग्लिश समझ नहीं आती, वो कहते हैं ग्रामर अलग होता है ना स्पोकन इंग्लिश से. तो अपने आप को बचाने के लिए लाइन बनाए ये लोग हमारे जैसे शहरों में. कौन लोग बोल रहे थे बाबू ये लाइन? और उनके कहने का क्या मतलब था? तो थोड़ा डिफरेंस बताना चाहिए था ना. जैसे कि ग्रामर के हिसाब से बोलना अगर होगा कि ये दुनिया गोल है, तो बोलेंगे द अर्थ इज राउंड, और स्पोकन इंग्लिश में क्या बोलेंगे? क्या? हाँ. हाँ. No, it is not, it's not, you can't write it's. It plus has तो सही है. No. it has को हम लोग लिख सकते it's it apostrophe s, but it was को नहीं लिख सकते it apostrophe s, नहीं. तो होता है, you know, not qualified teachers, not competent teachers. आप एक आप आर्गुमेंट करके क्या हासिल कर लेंगे? वो थोड़ी इस बात को नहीं जानते कि उनके साथ क्या परेशानी है ना. भले ही एग्जैक्ट नहीं जानते, लेकिन इतना जानते हैं कि कुछ परेशानी है, उनको भी पता है, लेकिन वो मजबूर हैं, उनको पैसा कमाना है बेचारे को. और आप कुछ भी करके उनको इस रूप से नहीं हटा सकते कि उनको पैसा कमाना है. उनकी फैमिली है, उनका पहला कर्तव्य है पैसा कमाना. समझ रहे हैं? आप उनके पर्सपेक्टिव पर्सपेक्टिव को समझिए. मैंने जब हम यंग थे ना, आई यूज्ड टू बी वेरी फ्लैम्बोयंट एंड आई यूज्ड टू बी वेरी यू नो काइंड ऑफ अग्रेसिव रेबेलियस टाइप के. हम जाएंगे इन लोग से बहस करेंगे ऐसे वैसे, इनको इनका चेहरा दिखाएंगे, because I knew a lot of people didn't know enough English and they were claiming to be teachers. Okay, they didn't know enough English to be called teachers, and still they were fooling people. So I thought I should go and expose them. But they are already exposed, actually, you know. It's just that they have to. I'm talking about small time teachers. I'm not talking about big teachers who do not know. उनको तो expose करना चाहिए, हमेशा करना चाहिए, ताकि उनका ये जो बड़ा टीचर वाला जो रुतबा है वो नीचे आ जाए कम से कम. All right. But those small time teachers जो बेचारे 10-15 हजार रुपए कमाने के लिए काम कर रहे हैं, उन पे तो सिंपथी आती है मुझे कि बेचारे क्यों गलत फील्ड में आ गए. ठीक है. You should choose a career in which you can excel. ऐसा करियर चुनना चाहिए जिसमें आप आगे बढ़ सकते हो. उन्हें गलत करियर चुन लिया, उनको इंग्लिश समझ नहीं आती, इंग्लिश पढ़ाने चले गए बेचारे. अब वो कितना ही कर लेंगे उसमें. तो उनके इसलिए सब सिंपथी भी आती है मेरे मन में. I remember when I was young, around 30, 31 years old, next to my institute, there was a family. They had some children. And in the evening came a tutor to teach the children. Okay. And one day I was just passing by and I heard the teacher teach at छोटा जगह के पहले लगाते हैं in, बड़े शहर के पहले लगाते हैं, छोटे शहर के पहले at, बड़े शहर के पहले in. I entered the room, sat there. The children knew me very well, so they stood up to show respect and all. I said, sir, can you please explain where you learned this rule? That's all. Please give me the source of your rule that you're teaching these children. सब जगह लिखा है. मैंने कहा, please give me one source, authentic source. He could not. Hearsay, सुना, इसने बोल दिया, उसने सुन लिया, फिर वो रूल बन गया. स्मॉल टाउन्स के पहले एट लगाना है, बिग टाउन्स के पहले इन लगाना है. It's a rule that a lot of primary school teachers, middle school teachers teach their children. And some competition level teachers also teach their students, My question is, where did you learn this? कहाँ पढ़ा तुमने? बता दो मुझे, please. Please give me the source. Where did you learn this rule? अच्छा चलो, अब तुम्हें सोचना चाहिए कि चलो ठीक है, if there is a rule like this, ठीक है? How do we decide which city is a small and which city is big? कितने स्क्वायर किलोमीटर के बाद ये डिसाइड होगा? Or are we going to decide it with population? I'll tell you something. There was a time I believed in these things, these rules, because I was taught. And I respected my teachers, so I had to believe them. Only after I got to know real English, I said, ये क्या बकवास सीखे हम लोग? So there is no such rule. What the rule is, at is used with arrive. किसके साथ? Arrive के साथ. खाली ध्यान रखना. When we use the verb arrive, then we use at when we talk about buildings, because buildings are small places compared to towns and cities and villages. Compare a building to a town. Compare a building to a village. Compare a building to a city. Which is bigger? Village, city, towns, these are bigger, and a building is small. So you arrive at school, you arrive at the bank, you arrive at the cinema, you arrive at the institute, you arrive at the railway station, but you arrive in, and the name of a village or the city or town. I arrived in Mumbai, I arrived in Bihar Sharif, I arrived in Gopalpur, a village, doesn't matter. Okay, because these are definitely bigger than these small buildings. तो पर्सपेक्टिव खो जाता है सीखते समय कुछ लोगों का, और वो उल्टा पुल्टा सीख जाते हैं. They lose perspective while they're learning some rules. अब समझ में आया छोटा और बड़ा कैसे होता था? Because a bank is a smaller place compared to a village, city, and town. We use at. Only with arrive. ये arrive का रूल है, at का रूल नहीं इसको कहना चाहिए. तो वो कहते हैं I live at Bihar Sharif. फिर से बोलना I arrive, live at Bihar Sharif. क्यों भाई? Oh, Bihar Sharif is a small town. अच्छा. So how big a town needs to be if I have to use in? Where did you learn this rule? No, nobody will give you any solid explanation. It's just that they were told by the teacher and they believed it and they continued, they persisted and they started spreading this, information. So I live in Bihar Sharif because Bihar Sharif is a town. छोटा सब गांव का नाम लो जो बिहार शरीफ का 1/10, 1/20, 100th part हो in area, and in population, but it is a village. आप क्या बोलोगे? I live in that village. नाम जो भी हो उस गांव का. Got it? I live at करके नहीं बोलेंगे. ये हम लोगों ने बना लिया है. I live at परवलपुर. छोटा जगह है. तो कहना है कि आप में से कोई कभी इंग्लिश बोलेगा ही नहीं बाहर जाके, ठीक है, अंग्रेजों के सामने या उनके सामने जिनको इंग्लिश बोलनी है. तो जो कुछ भी यहाँ पर पेल दे आपके इंग्लिश के नाम पे आपके दिमाग में, आप एक्सेप्ट करके उसको आगे बढ़ाओगे. खाली मेरा इमेज होना चाहिए, बस बात खत्म. आप मान लोगे मेरी बात. तो हमने पढ़ा दिया ड्रिंक टी नहीं बोलना, टेक टी बोलना. तुम्हें भी पढ़ा दिया होगा बचपन में कि ड्रिंक टी कैसे बोल सकते हो. ड्रिंक तो ऐसे करते हो पानी को, टी को ऐसे थोड़ी करते हो. तो कुछ लोगों ने ज्यादा इंग्लिश जानते तो उन्होंने कह दिया सिप टी बोलो, ड्रिंक टी मत बोलो. और सच्चाई मैं बोलूंगा, मैंने भी कुछ समय तक ये सब बकवास किया था. सच्चाई है भाई. मैं पैदा नहीं हुआ इंग्लिश बोलते हुए ना. आई हैव लर्न फ्रॉम दिस प्लेस फर्स्ट, ओके, फ्रॉम द पीपल हियर. और आज भी यहाँ के लोगों की बात पढ़ा देता हूँ कभी कभी, तो बाद में एम्बैरेसमेंट झेलना ही पड़ता है. तो later I learned drink tea is as normal as anything, and actually take tea is wrong English, only used by Bangladeshis, Indians and Pakistanis, people in this region. Take tea. The rest of the world says drink tea, have tea. And sip tea, चाय पीना नहीं होता है. वो नॉवल वगैरह में जब कोई पिक्चर को अच्छे से, नॉवेल्स में क्या करते हैं, दे राइट लॉट्स ऑफ पेजेस ना, 200-300 पेजेस. अब एक स्टोरी को 200 पेज में लिखना है, दे हैव टू गिव अ लॉट ऑफ डिटेल्स. तो उन्होंने बताना है कि कोई आदमी बैठा हुआ था अपने गार्डन में और वो चाय ऐसे कर रहा था, तो बोलेंगे ही वाज सिटिंग विद हिज फीट अप ऑन द टेबल सिपिंग अ कप ऑफ टी. तो यहाँ सिप बोल दिया उन्होंने, क्योंकि पिक्चर को बेहतर तरीके से एक्सप्रेस करता है ड्रिंकिंग के तुलना में. सिपिंग अ कप ऑफ टी. आगे सुनो. He sipped his tea and said no. He sipped his tea and said no. फिर किसी नॉवल में ही लिखा होगा ये लाइन, क्योंकि ये लाइन बेहतर तरीके से उस सिचुएशन को रिप्रेजेंट करता है, rather than he drank his tea and said no. तो नॉवेल्स में, नॉवेल का स्टाइल पढ़े होगे, कोई हिंदी का नॉवेल तो समझ जाते होगे कि नॉवेल में क्या होता है. लेकिन अगर किसी ने कभी लाइफ में कोई नॉवेल नहीं पढ़ी, हिंदी की भी नहीं, and novels, how are they different from any small story, short stories? They give all the details, a lot more details than a short story. तो डिटेल्स देने में यही सब ना चीजें डालेंगे कि उसके शर्ट पे जो बटन्स थे इस तरह से चमक, ऐसे ही करके ना डिटेल्स डालते हैं बताते हुए. ये सब समझ ना होने की वजह से, पर्सपेक्टिव ना होने की वजह से, we just do all the stupid things in language learning. Biharis are very poor with language, unfortunately. Language learning. Lekin they have the potential to learn English and speak English with the correct pronunciation. Bengalis cannot say sa and shark differently, but Biharis don't have such limitations. We can pronounce all the sounds of English the way they should be pronounced, because our Hindi, the way we speak, allows us to learn all those sounds easily. For Bengalis, sa and sha will be a big problem. They'll have to work very hard because in their language, they don't have sa sound. They have to say rashagulla all the time. Rashagulla. हाँ, शादा बोल देते हैं सादा को वो लोग, अगर बोलेंगे भी तो वैसे ही आपके वो इंग्लिश बोलते समय उनको सा सेम को शेम बोल देंगे. I was saying the shame. I was saying the saying the shame. I was saying the shame. तो प्रॉब्लम है. Anyways, who was this teacher? Why? Who are you talking about? At your place? Next to government teacher. He will accept your argument. He has his image. He is a government teacher. He earns 60,000 rupees monthly salary. He cleared BPSC exam, and he will listen to somebody like you. Huh? तुम्हें ऐसा सोच लगता है? उसको पता रहेगा वो गलत है, लेकिन वो नहीं मानेगा तुम्हारे सामने। दोनों ही स्थिति में नहीं मानेगा। वेरी फ्यू पीपल हैव द ह्यूमिलिटी टू एक्सेप्ट दैट दे वर रॉन्ग, एंड आई लव दोज पीपल बिकॉज दे आर रेयर, दोज हु हैव द ह्यूमिलिटी टू एक्सेप्ट, यार गलती हो गई यार, and I know sometimes I make mistakes. I'm ready to accept, yeah, galat ho gaya mere se, wahan par aise nahi hai. And you know why I accept my mistake? Because I'm confident that I know, and that was just a mistake and I will correct it. So I don't feel really, I'm not God. I can't be perfect, right? Flawless. Where were we? There were 3 astronauts. The enormous rocket took 3 days to complete the journey, 250,000 miles to the moon, traveling at 6 miles per second, which, if you do the calculations, 21,600 miles an hour. Then it circled the moon 30 times. Then it circled the moon 30 times. So when it reached the moon, it circled the moon. It didn't really land. It circled the moon 30 times. 30 times circled the moon. The rocket went around the moon. Circled the moon means went around the moon 30 times. And why did they do it? The rocket circled, okay? The rocket circled the moon 30 times, giving time to prepare for the landing. फिर से वो giving है. Full stop को कॉमा को full stop में बदलो ताकि तुम्हें समझ में आए कि वो कैसे आता है ing वाला. हाँ, it circled the moon 30 times, full stop. It gave time to prepare for the landing. It gave time to prepare for the landing. The rocket circled the moon 30 times, giving time to prepare for the landing. The lunar landing. I mean, they were landing on the moon for the first time, so it was not कि घर जैसे जाके उतर जाना था. पटना से राजगीर नहीं जा रहे थे ना. They had to consider a lot of factors, gravity, angles, and this and that. So they needed time to get, you know, yeah, to do the landing, to get the landing right. So they circled, and planned and calculated, and finally they landed. How? The lunar landing. Lunar. Beta, another name for the moon is Luna. Luna means the moon. Luna. Okay. So anything related to the moon is lunar. I think it is Greek or Latin. मेरे को confusion रहता है because that's not the subject of my interest. Origin of words, मैं उस पर ध्यान नहीं देता बहुत ज्यादा. तो लूना जो है ना, either it is Greek or Latin, one of the two. वहीं इंग्लिश में बहुत सारे words Greek origin से हैं, and there are a lot of words from Latin origin. There are a lot of words from German origin and a lot of words from French origin. Okay. So ये 4 languages have influenced English a lot. The English that we know today have a lot of words from Greek origin, Latin origin, French origin, and German origin. The lunar landing. Lunar related to the Luna. Luna means the moon. Okay. Landing on the moon, the lunar landing. The solar eclipse. Solar eclipse. Solar related to the sun. And वैसे ही lunar eclipse related to the moon. The lunar module. Module. A module is a small part of something big, but it is complete by itself. All right. It is complete. It is a part, but it is a complete part. It can exist on its own. All right. A module is a part of something, but it is complete on its own. Okay. Let me explain. The BJP is a political party, and then they have a no, we use the word being for political parties. Terrorist organizations. Let's talk about terrorist organization. ISI is a terrorist organization. ISIS. Okay. ISIS has a terrorist, ISIS is a terrorist organization. Now, suppose they have a group part of the ISIS in let's say Ranchi. So that will be called the Ranchi module of the ISIS. The Ranchi module of the ISIS. So it means it is part of ISIS, but it is independent on its own. It is complete on its own module. Okay. This whole course, a spoken English course, is a long course. Elementary module you're studying. You're studying the elementary module. Ab ye course khatam, you are free to go back home. You can leave the course, or if you want, you can continue to the next level. So it is complete, okay? And that's why it is called a module. तो courses में भी अलग-अलग modules होते हैं. एक पूरा लंबा course होता है, उसके छोटे-छोटे हिस्से हैं. So parts are called module. The lunar module. So beta, the rocket was enormous. बड़ा सा rocket था, right? लेकिन एक हिस्सा, a part of the rocket was going to land on the moon. The whole rocket was not going to land on the moon. Only a part of the rocket was going to land on the moon. So it was a part, so it was a module. Because it was going to land on the moon, it was the lunar module. The lunar module landed on a part of the moon called the Sea of Tranquility. Where did it land? On the Sea of Tranquility. It is the name people gave to that part of the moon. Okay. I mean, the moon is a piece of rock or whatever, right? So it doesn't have its own name. Human beings gave some names, certain parts. So where the lunar module landed, that part was called Sea of Tranquility. Why is it called the Sea of Tranquility? I have a guess. You didn't want to land on that part where there are a lot of earthquakes. Did you want to land there? Did you want to land in a place where there would be a lot of uncertainty? No. So you wanted to land in a place on the moon where you will be safe. Tranquility means peace, silence, tranquility. Tranquility means peace and silence. Now, let me give you. Tranquilizers are those injections and medicine that some patients are given when they go out of control. Mental patients, those mentally, unstable patients, sometimes they become very violent. Then the doctors give them tranquilizers. Or when they have to catch a wild animal like a tiger or a lion or a cheetah, then they give tranquilizers to these animals. And the animal kind of becomes unconscious in a way. They will be silent. They will not be able to do any violence because tranquilizers will tranquilize them. Tranquilize means will make them tranquil. Tranquil means not doing any violence, silence, peace, tranquilizer. Tranquility, the quality, tranquility, peace, silence, okay? Tranquility is a noun. Tranquil is an adjective. Okay, sea of tranquility. The area where there is on peace, silence, not much, because a lot of earthquakes come on the moon. All right. Moons also have, okay, I should not say earthquake, moonquakes. Earthquakes, when they happen on the earth. So a lot of moonquakes happen on the moon. Okay. So they had to land on a place where they would be safe. So where did they land? On a place called Sea of Tranquility. मुझे कभी बचपन में समझ नहीं आता था, रट्टा मारा था मैंने सी ऑफ ट्रैंक्विलिटी. आपने भी रट्टा मारा होगा सी ऑफ ट्रैंक्विलिटी जनरल नॉलेज में. Where did the lunar landing take place on the moon, on the sea of tranquility? But आपकी जब लैंग्वेज की समझ अच्छी होने लगेगी ना, तो बहुत सी चीजें सेंस बनाने लगेंगी आपको. बचपन में हम लोगों ने स्टेबलाइजर खूब बोला था. ठीक है. बाद में जब इंग्लिश सही हुई तो समझ में आया इसको स्टेबलाइजर बोलते हैं, क्योंकि वोल्टेज को क्या करता है, स्टेबलाइज करता है. तो इट्स गुड टू रिमेम्बर योर स्टूपिड डेज व्हेन यू डिडंट नो, व्हेन यू वर इग्नोरेंट, because it makes you feel happy that you have come a long way. If you were poor in your childhood and now you are rich and you remember your childhood, you feel rather happy for being rich, because You can see the contrast. If you were never poor, then you can't enjoy your wealth that way. A poor person who becomes rich enjoys his money in a different way compared to somebody who was always rich. मिठाई मिर्चा के बाद मिले तो क्या मजा आ जाता है। 10 मिठाई के बाद 11वीं मिठाई का मजा नहीं है। But after mircha, when you get a mithai, that mithai tastes amazing. Ah, okay. So, anyways, we will can finish it tomorrow. It is 8:30 already. Guys, I think we should try and start early. Okay, 7, not 7:20. These days we are being a little bit, you know, not so punctual. I'm also responsible for this. Ever since I fell sick, I have not been able to wake up early, and morning time is not very easy for me. But I'll try. I've been saying this. So cooperate with me and be here by 7. Okay, 7:05, maximum 7:10. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.